Hi, my name is Adriana Hernandez Bergstrom, and in this tutorial, I want to teach you how to read
a colorwork chart using a pattern that I designed back in 2013.
Here is my sample, and here's the finished product in the magazine. And I just wanted to teach you how to read the patterns, because sometimes you'll see these charts and they're really daunting. This is the chart that I sent to the publishing company. And you'll note that in this version, it's the entire design that's on the back. So these squiggles, zigzags match these zigzags, and this floral pattern here, and the swirls match the swirls here. And then these are added later. You get the pattern, and it's a little bit daunting because you don't get to see this entire thing. You only get to see the repeat. And what that means, the repeat is the section of the pattern that is literally repeated. So they don't have to use that much space on the paper. They only give you a limited section. So in order to read this, you have to know a couple of things. Is the mitten knit from the top down or from the bottom up? In this case, in my design, it's knit from the cuff or the bottom up. So you're going to read this pattern from the bottom up. And all of these patterns will show you, they'll give you numbers. So you're going to start from the bottom row, and you're going to read actually from, I read at least from right to left when I'm knitting. And so you're reading from right to left across the row this way. So you see how it says beginning. So begin 6.5 inches. So this is the size. The 6.5 inch palm size, 7.25 inch palm size, and 7.75 palm size. Each begin with a different line. And those same measurements are given in the different sections of the pattern. When you read it, it'll tell you which chart to start with. But I can tell you, because you could see it on the actual sample, that you're going to start with a cuff, which doesn't have a chart. Then you're going to continue with the detail. I spent a long time. Yeah, I did. Okay, so there's a detail here, that little dotted dash detail. And then afterward, we continue with one side of the mitten has the swirls, and the other side has the sort of zigzag what I call the cactus. So this is la rosita. Rosita literally means little rose. So the little rose is one side and the little cactus on the other.
First, find which size you're going to do. What was it, 6.5? You find the line that says your size. You begin and end with the lines that have your size. So you read it from right to left, starting and ending with your size on all of the charts. And then you read them from row or round 1 and up. In some of the charts, you'll see that they end with different rounds. I tried to make this easier for knitters, but it's not always this way. Or for example, Rosita ends with row or round 12. In the cactus one, it ends with round or row 6. So as you're working the rounds, they will match up easily because you'll work 12 of the Rosita, then 6 of the cactus twice. How to keep track of what you are knitting.
Adhesive, like for example, adhesive notepads, like this one, and then you stick it where you are. But my favorite method is actually having my own copy and then making check marks. So when I'm done knitting across, I will mark off. So what do the different dots mean? Each dot is explained in the key. So the key gives you 2 pieces of information at once. It's giving you the color that you're knitting. In this case, the red is not actually knit. It's a duplicate stitch, which is a fancy way of saying that you sewed a stitch that kind of looks like a knitted stitch. So you can ignore that one. The main color is the white. MC's main color in knitting. CC1, the green, is the contrasting color number 1. And then X allows the reader, regardless of any visual differences, to be able to read the pattern. That's why the X is there, to give the contrasting color a way of being differentiated if it were in grayscale or in, basically anybody could read it. The other thing that is given here is MR, make one right with contrasting color number 1, make one left. So you have to look really carefully to make sure the only place that it appears is in the thumb gusset, because you're increasing the thumb to make it stick out like this. So you only start working the thumb gusset once you've worked past this area. So if we're reading this pattern, you go you go through here until it tells you work, let's say it's work 12. I don't actually remember, but work 12 rounds of the Rosita chart, then work blah 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 rows of the cactus chart, and then begin the thumb gusset. So you're going to be then you're going to be reading Rosita, right? Rosita, cactus, thumb. Rosita, cactus, thumb. And then you just keep going around and around until you've got this level of the thumb gusset, which looks like this triangle folded in half. See? When you flatten it, you can see now how the design looks. And that is how you read these charts. I hope that helps you figure out how to read a chart, especially when it's in the round. I think it helps to have a visual to understand how to decode all these various pieces. Good luck with you and your knitting, and I hope you found this helpful. Thank you.